good. Let's
At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Atlanta Braves. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or buyatoyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. By Spectrum. Hey, Mets fans, get the best TV, internet, and voice service today at spectrum.com. By Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. And by Tri-Acura. Visit your local Tri-Acura dealer or online at triacuradealers.com. Summer, at least summer weather, has arrived in the big city. 87 degrees. Oh, we've been waiting for this for a long, long time. Perfect day to get the kids out to the ballpark. No jacket required. Just come on in, root for your favorite pitcher, and have a ball at the ballpark. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets play the middle game of their series against the Braves. The Mets lost last night, but Yoenis Cespedes, coming off a bit of a thumb injury over the weekend, continued to rake. He's in the hottest stretch of his season.
Well, I tell you what, he got off to a terrible start, a month-long slump, basically, where he's got over 40 strikeouts. 5 games ago, against that last game in the series in St. Louis, I thought he started swinging the bat better, and lo and behold, he got 2 base hits in San Diego, the final game of the series, to the opposite field. 3 for 4 last night. So over the last 5 games, he's 9 for 17 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs, and he's taken off. And let's not forget Jay Bruce. Jay Bruce is also catching fire over his last 5 games. He's hitting .333, 7 for 21.
So the Mets hoping for some better offensive times ahead, going up against the best offensive team in the National League so far. Jacob deGrom's shut him down 2 starts back, and deGrom's in the most dominant stretch of his career.
You know, enjoy it, Mets fans. Occasionally you get a young pitcher whose pitching greatness is meeting his pitching intelligence. And his athleticism we've always known about, but he's able to use a lot of the analytics that are out today to make his game even at a higher level. We're going to really be watching to see, first time through the lineup, how he approaches these Atlanta hitters who were very aggressive last night.
They certainly were aggressive, and they jumped on Noah Syndergaard for 3 in the first. Meanwhile, Atlanta goes with the young lefty Sean Newcomb, who made his big league debut against the Mets last year.
Heard commenting saying, Mets again? 25th start in the major leagues. It'll be his 5th against the New York Mets. He's been very good, though, against them. In those 4 starts, ERA under 3.
Mets just a half game ahead of the Braves in the standings as play begins tonight, trying to hang on to first place. It's the Mets and the Braves on a summery day at Citi Field. All the action on SNY. with the Mets for Free Shirt Friday. All fans attending Friday's game at Citi Field will receive a Jay Bruce t-shirt to call their own. Visit Clover.com and learn how Clover can be your business's MVP this season. Be at Citi Field Saturday when the Mets take on the Rockies at 7:10 p.m. The first 25,000 fans in attendance will receive a UN Cespedes Garden Gnome, courtesy of New Balance. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Drive Around the Majors presented by Cadillac. Mookie Betts is 25 years old. He now has 4 3-home run games, the most in Red Sox history. We're not talking about a new franchise either. He broke Ted Williams' record. Carlos Martinez hit his first career home run, pitched well, and beat the White Sox 3-2. Rockies are coming in this weekend. Their offense has been struggling. They scored 11 today at Wrigley Field. Nolan Arenado, a couple of home runs. He drove in 5. Mets continue their series with the Braves. Train's just pulling into the station. First pitch is coming right up. Spring sunset on a summery day. It's moving quickly. It's supposed to linger over the sunset, not race through it. Starting lineup for the Braves, one change behind the plate. Tyler Flowers, just his 3rd start of the year. Got hurt on opening day, just got back. The Braves with the leading offense in the National League, averaging 5.5 runs per game. They banged out 15 hits last night. Jacob deGrom will try and hold him down tonight.
Well, these Toyota numbers are fantastic. His last 3 starts, he's only given up 3 earned runs in 21 2/3 innings.
His last start in particular, 7 strong innings, just like he toyed with the lineup. We got a little wait here.
Let's go. What time's that 7:10 game start? Here we go.
It's not our network.
Ozzie Albies leads off. deGrom's first pitch is a slider for ball 1, and we're underway. And that's very interesting because, as Ronnie mentioned during the open, the Braves jumped on first pitch fastballs repeatedly last night. And deGrom comes back with a high fastball, and it's 1-1.
Remember now, Ron, the last start in San Diego, deGrom really used that fastball upstairs to perfection.
And Albies thinking about dropping down a bunt, offered and missed, and it's 1-2.
Just learning how to bunt. I mean, he showed his hand way too early.
Ronald Acuna in his first week in the big leagues waiting on deck. Then Freddie Freeman. Braves banged out 4 straight hits in the first against Syndergaard last night to score 3, but deGrom takes care of Albies with a slider for the first out of the night.
Your Metropolitans Lexus infield. Same crew out there. Flores, of course, always plays first base against the left-hander. Lobaton, it's the rotating catching position. Oh boy, and there's the cannon. Cespedes out and left with that cannon last night. He zeroed in an 88 millimeter.
That's revolutionary right there. Here's Ronald Acuna, and he goes after an outside fastball and misses. 0-1. Acuna, 6 games in the big leagues, 10 hits. The most for a Braves player in his first 6 games since Mac Jones in 1961 when the Braves played in Milwaukee.
Left-hand hitter, I believe, Mac Jones.
Went on to play for the Expos, if I recall correctly.
Had some pop.
Acuna 10 for 24, hitting .417 in his first week in the major leagues. Just 20 years old, the youngest player in the majors. And he pops one up on the infield. Cabrera takes charge of it, and that's the second out. So deGrom, who was utterly dominant 11 days ago against the Braves, 7 scoreless innings, 4 meaningless hits, 10 strikeouts, retires his first 2 tonight. And you wonder, does he go with anything different against the Braves the second time around?
Listen, his strengths are so strong that he can pitch to those. But I think if you watch the game last night, you've got to at least alter your thinking a little.
Hooked into right field by Freddie Freeman, and he's got himself a 2-out hit.
Well, there's your veteran hitter right there, Ronnie. And we talk about deGrom and his savvy on the mound. Albies and Acuna are young hitters. Let him off with hard sliders in, cutters, and then leads Freddie off with what looks like a cambio there, a little changeup.
My problem always, when you lead a hitter and first time up with a changeup, you're changing up from what? Nothing.
And bad location. He got it up, and Freeman's got his 3rd hit in this series. He's aboard with 2 out for Nick Markakis, who has been red hot. 8-game hitting streak for Markakis, including 2 hits last night.
You saw Freddie got that hit off the end of the bat, right? He was too quick. What happens on a changeup that's 88 miles an hour in the first inning, first at bat, first pitch? It just looks like a bad fastball.
So if you're going to throw the changeup, do you have to throw it out of the strike zone?
No, you could throw it out of the strike zone, absolutely.
And Markakis breaks his bat, loops it to shallow right. Bruce comes in to get it. That retires the side. So deGrom makes quick work of the Braves in the opening inning. The Mets come to bat against Sean Newcomb in the bottom of the first. Here's your Geico Mets starting lineup tonight. Lefty on the mound. That means Wilmer Flores finds a spot, trying to fight his way out of a slump. Jay Bruce, though, stays in while Conforto and Gonzalez sit. Juan Lagares gets a start in center field. We'll say Lobaton behind the plate after Tomas Nido caught the last two.
Well, this young man, Sean Newcomb, is Land Rover above and beyond numbers. He looks a little bit like a young John Lester. He doesn't have the control of John Lester. 5th start against the Mets in his career.
And a no decision against the Mets during the last road trip. 3 runs in 6 innings as Drupal Cabrera pokes one foul. Cabrera hitting .370 as a right-hand batter. 3rd in the National League overall with that .337 mark. And you see the numbers against Newcomb, 5 for 12. He has been right on the money from the opening days of the season. Well, Newcomb paints the outside 0-2.
What doesn't show in those numbers is his situational hitting too. He's been hitting in that top part of that order, leading off, hitting second, and sometimes third. He's a terrific situational hitter.
And protects to stay alive. Wilmer Flores on deck, then Yoenis Cespedes for the Mets in the first. Cabrera with 35 hits already. That's tied for the National League lead. 7th in the league in slugging percentage.
Well, he's a long way off the dish, isn't he?
I think further than usual.
Yeah.
And the curveball gets him for the first out.
My goodness, what a hammer that was.
This kid has all the talent to be a real good left-handed pitcher. Control is his only Achilles heel right now. Follow through, got flowers.
Through his first 24 major league starts, Newcomb has walked 5 per 9 innings. But that curveball was splendid.
Yes, it was.
Now Wilmer Flores 0 for his last 16. That's the bad news. The good news is his last 2 hits came against Sean Newcomb the last time the Mets faced him 12 days ago.
4 for 24 against lefties this year. Very un-Wilmer-like.
And overall, Wilmer's batting average down to 192. 24-year-old Sean Newcomb, born in Brockton, Mass., grew up in Middleborough, Mass. You know those right-hand pitchers from Massachusetts, those left-hand pitchers from Massachusetts, they're a special breed.
That's right. Rocky Marciano, Keith, from Brockton.
Yes, that's right.
Wasn't Marvin Hagler from the same area
Hagler
as
was,
well?
yeah, Hagler was from there also. Brockton, Natick, I'm not sure. I said Brockton, yeah.
Two coming, and Wilmer with a late hack fouls it off.
So that's my scouting report I put together with Eddie Warmer helping me out. Strikeout potential, 11 Ks and 9 innings pitched. He's faced the Mets, his ERA under 3. And that's the starters for the Braves this year. 3.35. Their ERA against the Mets is under 2 this year.
So here's my question. Do you only put a picture of yourself in the scouting report when the pitcher is from Massachusetts?
Oh, no, I don't. But this is the first time I've ever did it with Eddie today. He said he came up and he goes, hey, Ronnie, you got to give me 3 things. I got to put it on thing. I did not know he was going to put my picture on it. And Eddie, that's a big faux pas.
Wilmer pops one up behind the bag, swats it into shallow center to get it 2 out. Well, it's a very nice font, I have to say, Eddie. Very nicely done.
Before I do this Dodge infield, Ronnie, I'm going to come back to you on that scouting report. Flowers back in the lineup, as Gary mentioned, hurt on opening day. Had a good year last year offensively. In the outfield, well, that's a pretty doggone good outfield. Acuna is taking the league by storm. And RJ, Eddie helped you with the scouting report? If that's the case, folks, disregard it.
Or put Eddie's picture up there. How about Eddie's?
Little Eddie says next to your mug.
That's a 1984 picture, by the way.
Here's Cespedes, 6 hits in his last 7 at bats, and he's hit in 7 straight games now. After 3 hits, including a home run last night, he takes a fastball for a strike.
He's been very happy in that 3 position in the order. At last 3 games, he's been moved to the 3 spot, and he has responded with a 6 for 9. For what it's worth.
Flies this one along the right field line. A long run in for Markakis, and he's not going to get there. Cespedes heads to second. The throw is high, and Yoenis has himself a pop fly double. Well, you got to play him to pull, and they did. And that pop fly with a lot of hang time fell in, and Cespedes has his 4th double of the year and 7 hits in his last 8 at bats.
Only his 3rd hit of the year off left-handers. He has struggled mightily. They know when you're hot, you're hot. You don't hit them good, they find a hole. Now he's 3 for 26 on the season against left-handers.
So the Mets have their first base runner, a 2-out double. Yeah, here's Todd Frazier, who had 2 hits last night. He has struggled against lefties as well, hitting just 150 against left-hand pitching this year. The Mets as a team hitting just 220 against lefties, and yet they have a 5-2 record when a lefty starts against them. Go figure.
Double.
And one will go foul out of play. So Cespedes dealing with that sore left thumb with extra protection on that left hand as he takes his lead.
I do that at home when I'm making my bread pudding. I put the golf glove on and then I put the oven mitt. Just the extra protection.
Last night's games late. Brian Snitker, the manager of the Braves, opted to keep the left-hander Minter in to face Cespedes, and he got him out. Got him on a fly ball to center.
And Frazier takes a strike. As that pitch was being thrown, Albies went into cover at the bag at second, and Cespedes bought the fake as Newcomb threw the pitch to the plate. 3 infielders on the left side against Frazier.
Oh, that's diamonds.
Oh, his chain broke, and those are the
That's some
the
iron.
residue. Slowly hit down to third. Flaherty is going to have to go to first with it in time to get Frazier, and that retires the side. Cleanup on aisle 2. Cespedes' necklace needs a little fixing. After 1, no score. Well, the cleanup is underway after Yoenis Cespedes' necklace exploded. As Dribble Cabrera, who has done everything for this team this year, now doing the housekeeping as well.
I mean, Cespedes didn't care. Obviously, Cabrera's on a 1-year deal.
Tyler Flowers. Now, do you think it's because that might be an expensive necklace that broke, or do you think that Asdrubal's just worried about a bad hop?
I think Asdrubal worried about a bad hop because Cespedes let it go.
I'd run them down to 47th Street.
Get a loop and check it out.
There you go. Nice.
Oh, Cabrera and Bill Welke sharing the wealth. Slider off the plate to Flowers, who's making just his 3rd start of the year. As Keith mentioned, he got hurt opening day, an oblique injury in his first at bat of the season, and didn't get back till a few days ago. He's only had 4 at bats this year. And he lines one into center field. Lagares measures it, and that's the first out. So this is before the game today.
Little did they know.
So this is something new, or is it? Let's see. Well, he looked unhappy that it's broken.
Oh.
Maybe only because that necklace had hits in it.
Oh, that
That could be. Oh, Gary, good call.
Our cameras are everywhere, apparently.
We have really good cameramen. I don't know if you knew that here. They're the best in the business.
They're okay. They have their moments.
We have more than ever. Dansby Swanson up with 1 out. 2 for 4 last night, and deGrom goes upstairs to get a swing and miss. And that has become a specialty for deGrom.
Sure has. We were mentioning Ron his last start, and how he came up, and he's always at the knees, and now he's learned to pitch upstairs.
Just missed the outside block at 98.
Easy.
Don't see a lot of 98s from deGrom. His average fastball velocity this year 94.4. Ryan Flaherty on deck. 1-2 to Swanson. He fouls back the high fastball.
Good pitch.
Well, this is on 4-seam fastballs in the upper third of the strike zone or above. So the high fastballs we've been talking about with deGrom. 42.7% of the time he gets swings and misses. Only 2 starters and only 3 pitchers in baseball have gotten more.
Doolittle, a hard thrower, the hard throwing left-hander. Scherzer, of course.
Happ jumps out at me there, Ron.
Yeah.
There's a good off-speed pitch by deGrom to strike out Swanson, his 2nd strikeout of the night.
You know, Happ reminds me a little better stuff on his fastball of Jim DeShays when he used to pitch. There's a changeup there for the strikeout. The 2 names that jump off at me are the 2 last names, deGrom and Cole, because when they started their career, they were on the knees pitchers, and now they can pitch that way, but also can pitch upstairs.
And do you think that's strictly an adjustment to the way the game has evolved?
Definitely an adjustment to the way the analytics.
Flaherty with the bunt attempt, and it goes foul.
I mean, Garrett and Cole and Jacob deGrom are able to know where their strengths are, but they also know where they can go if they want to get a strikeout. If you have an uppercut, anything in the upper part of the strike zone with a little on it is going to be untouchable. And you can see it in Cole's numbers also. This is the best he's ever pitched as far as striking people out after being traded to the Houston Astros.
He's been striking out 12, 14 every time he goes out there. That whole staff has been unbelievable. Flaherty bangs one on the ground. Wilmer can't get it. Cabrera does. deGrom covers in time. Oh, what a play by Cabrera. That ball beat Flores, but as Dribble didn't give up on it, and the Mets get the 4-1 put out to end the inning. Beautifully done. 1-2-3 for deGrom with a gem by Cabrera.
young man, Danny Hill, a Shawnee High School senior in New Jersey. He's SNY's Dream Day participant today. And Danny, you've had to deal with so much that nobody your age should ever have to deal with. Can you just give people a little bit of background on what you've been going through the last 4 years?
Well, in February of 2014, I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is a bone cancer. So that was found in my lower femur. And throughout these 4 years, I've had multiple relapses, 32 rounds of chemo, multiple clinical trials, and 13 big surgeries. But I'm just happy to be out here today.
Yeah, and today, Dream Day, like I said, for SNY, you come out here, you get to experience so much. You got to throw a bullpen session with Ricky Bonas watching. What was this day like for you?
Yeah, it was just a dream come true. I mean, especially when you're told you can't play baseball again, and I'm out here throwing bullpens with the Mets. I mean, it's just so much fun, and I just have no words. I'm just so thankful to the Mets organization and SNY for inviting me to do this.
Danny, you say you were told you could never play baseball again. I know you went through over 150 rounds of physical therapy just to relearn how to walk, and as great of a day as this was, perhaps an even better day was 2 days ago when you got to play in your first ever high school baseball game. What was that moment like for you?
I was just, again, it was just a dream come true. I mean, when you're told you can't play sports, I always kind of had it in the back of my mind saying, yeah, I'm gonna try and do this. I'm gonna see if I can do it. And just big thanks to my parents, just kind of always keeping me active, but also my coaches. I mean, they always were kind of nudging me and, hey, all right, come help me practice a little bit. And so it was just, and then we were in a good spot on Monday, and he said, hey, Dan, I want to go in. Absolutely. So, and luckily I got to play to end the game. Nice grounder, got flipped to me. It was awesome.
Fantastic stuff. And I know you and I were talking a little bit about this before, but when you go through something like this, you've talked about the need to be so positive, but what is the level of appreciation you have for days, for moments like you've experienced this week after having to deal with stuff again that nobody should have to go through?
Well, you realize that life is precious. I mean, you just take one day at a time and just enjoy the little things. But yeah, it's just, I'm just kind of lost for words right now. But it's just, yeah, you just kind of learn to appreciate every day and just kind of take one day at a time.
Well, Danny, keep going, keep fighting. You're an absolute inspiration, and thank you so much for giving us a few minutes of your day.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. Gary, back up to you.
Well, what a great thing. Dream Day, part of SNY's Play Ball Week, which will be going on over the coming weeks.
And Danny's dream was to spend the day with the Mets, and you saw him being coached and out there with the players and playing catch, and wow, that's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. How about that?
I'd be at a loss for words too.
Me, I would be.
Juan Lagares sitting .342 for the year. Newcomb took something off, and it's 2-2.
It's like Newcomb watched Soroka last night and said, well, I better push on the gas pedal a little bit, get it going.
Mike Soroka getting a win in his first big league start last night. He's the youngest pitcher to get a win in his first start since Scott Kazmir 14 years earlier. That makes Met fans cringe when you say that, you know. He was 20.
I wasn't here yet.
Yeah, well, 3-2, and that's drilled foul. By the way, another first-time starter pitched wonderfully today for the Twins. Fernando Romero, 23-year-old from Puerto Rico, 5 2/3 scoreless innings, and got a win over the Blue Jays. They're coming up more precocious than ever.
Yeah, they are. Well, you know,
Garris hits one on the ground for Albies. Nice easy hop. And there are 2 out.
You know, when Keith and I were younger, we were lucky enough to play against the best players in our village or our town, or if you're lucky enough, maybe a city. These young players, or some of them anyway, are playing against some of the best players all over the world at a young age.
Now Ahmed Rosario. Hitless in his last 8 at bats, his average down to 226.
He's been kind of just running and chasing out of the strike zone against right-handers. I mean, last night he was a classic example. He's a swinger. When he gets his pitch, he's just fouling it back. He's not putting it in play. But he went after some hard sinkers down and in from right-handers, and then the bad breaking ball away. And that's something that the Mets are very much aware of, and Rosario is working on.
He lines this one in the left center for a base hit, so a 2-out 2-strike hit for Ahmed, and the Mets' second hit of the night.
Well, he came into this game hitting 300 against left-handers, Gary.
And he's now 3 for 3 against Sean Newcomb.
Tries to go with the 0-2 changeup. If you're going to throw this pitch as a young pitcher, catcher's got to tell you got to bounce it. Simple as that, especially against Rosario. But good job by Rosario putting that ball in play.
So a 2-out base runner for Jose Lobaton. His last start came Saturday in San Diego. 4 hits and 28 at bats as a Met. And he takes a borderline strike.
Lobaton, a better left-hand hitter. Only 5 at bats. He joined the Mets late, of course, with the injury to Plawecki and d'Arnaud. 1 for 5 thus far.
And the curveball stopped by Flowers. 1-1.
Mickey Callaway was talking today about how impressed he is with these 2 catchers who've done a fantastic job defensively. That's what he's looking for first. Nito with a hit in yesterday's game. Have not got a lot of offense out of them. But it's not exactly like d'Arnaud and Plawecki had started out as Yogi Berra either.
Well, I think there were certainly higher expectations for them, and
of course,
what it does with these guys hitting 8th is it creates a little bit of a black hole at the bottom of the batting order, and it's affected how Rosario is used as well. The plan was for Rosario to hit 9th, and he's actually succeeded far more in that spot. But you can't really do that if you've got that one.
Whoa.
Slips out of the hand of Newcomb and goes to the backstop, and Rosario winds up at second base on a very wild pitch. You know, Mickey was saying, you know, we're getting something going in the middle of our batting order, and if you have a light hitting catcher at 7th and the pitcher 8th, all of a sudden you come to a dead stop.
Yeah, he said the lineup ends. You and I were talking about that last night, right, Keith?
Yep.
Looking at where just, you know, there's more outs there at the bottom of the lineup, so Mickey had to mix it up.
Had more of an effect, negative effect on Rosario.
Yeah.
He was very comfortable in that 9-hole.
So now he's hitting 7th instead. Lobaton fouls off the fastball. 3-2.
On base percentage and slugging, folks, is OPS. In the 9th hole, he's around 700. Anywhere else, he's around 200. So a big difference. Small sample, big difference.
He just improved it with his base hit. It's on his way up. 3-2 to Lobaton with Rosario at 2nd and 2 out. And Lobaton down swinging on the fastball. Newcomb has his 2nd strikeout of the night, and the Mets are done in the bottom of the 2nd. No score going to the 3rd. working around the bag. He was out there today taking some ground balls.
2 hands, Jay.
Need to get you down there with him.
I can't bend over. I couldn't instruct.
No, you can't demonstrate, but you can instruct.
Okay, that's true.
You instruct us.
I would be a bad.
Virtually every day.
It would be a bad visual. Trust me.
Sean Newcomb leading off in the 3rd and takes the fastball for a strike. Newcomb 1 for 9 this year. Opposing pitchers have 1 hit against the Mets staff this year. 1 for 53. Luke Weaver of the Cardinals has the only hit. Jacob deGrom with his 2 scoreless innings tonight. Now 16 and a third consecutive scoreless innings. 7 against the Braves, 7 and a third against the Padres, and now 2 tonight. And now he's got Newcomb for his 3rd strikeout of the night. 1 out in the 3rd. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get New York Mets home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Speaking of radio broadcasts,
yes.
Happy birthday to Wayne Randazzo, our good friend on the Mets radio pre and post game show. And I have the perfect gift for Wayne for his birthday today.
You do?
Yes. An all expense paid trip to Cincinnati.
Oh, you're not going?
I'm not going.
And
Wayne will be with Keith.
He gets to team up with me, a little tag team. Wayne and I. Wayno.
Are you really going to call him that?
I'm going to call him Wayno.
There's Wayne. Happy birthday, Wayne.
What's he, 22?
I think 34, but don't quote me. By the way, I just want you to know.
Yes.
There's no cake.
No cake?
There's no cake.
There's never been any cake.
Sorry, Josh. There's still no cake.
Will be no cake.
Here's the 0-2 to Inciarte, and he gets him with a high fastball. And deGrom just keeps on rolling. 4 strikeouts, first time through the order tonight.
High gas. You got all that video, and I would be focused on, okay, can't chase that high one. I'd be so focused on Jacob to keep, they can get the ball down. He is just really mastering the upstairs gas.
Paints the inside with a slider to Albies.
It's a G pitch cast. Ball just has so much run up in the strike zone.
In foul ground, Frazier gives it a look near the railing. He's got no. He did not catch it. Came close.
He was there.
Off the bat like that ball was headed for the stands. And he got the glove there.
He's going to be mad at himself for not making that play.
Yeah.
No error on the play. So that prolongs the turn at bat for Albies. And deGrom throws the back foot slider, 1 and 2.
So if I just look at the first 6 hitters in the lineup, and then Albies, that's 7 hitters. That's 3 fastballs, 3 sliders, and a changeup to start out the hitters. So deGrom definitely has changed it up a little bit in how he faces them. First pitch.
Well, after all those first pitch fastball hits that the Braves picked up last night, I think there were, what, 9 of them?
That's right.
The only hit against him tonight came on a first pitch changeup to Freeman.
Last time he struck out Albies was on a slider that tied him up right at the waist.
1-2. Goes back to the slider, gets the strikeout, side retired. Jacob deGrom strikes out the side in the 3rd. He has just been magnificent. 5 strikeouts in the first 3 innings for Jake. No score at Citi Field. Jacob deGrom leads off the home third. 2 hits and 13 at bats so far this year. And takes a fastball strike from Sean Newcomb. deGrom, then Cabrera and Flores for the Mets in the third.
Got that elbow protector on, protecting that right arm.
Good.
And that is a precious right arm.
And getting better and better. It's amazing.
I have no issue with that, with the pitcher protecting his arm. Hitters, I don't know. I have a problem.
You know what I've found interesting, the last, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks or so, maybe his last 4 or 5 starts, people that are here every day have been almost astounded with their questions to Mickey Callaway about, boy, Jacob deGrom, he's really good. Like what have you been watching?
Well, it's a fact of the timing of deGrom's career. When he arrived, Matt Harvey was the alpha dog.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then Noah Syndergaard became the alpha dog. And he's very happy to settle into the background and just be the best pitcher on the staff.
He's not going to be in the background this year, Gary.
I'm just saying personality-wise.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he's been so overwhelmingly good. Best start of his career. First time he's had this low an ERA through his first 6 starts of the season. Here's Cabrera, who struck out his first time up.
And you know, if you look at last year, 15 wins. I know people discount wins. I don't. 15 wins. He had about a half dozen starts which were not good. And if he can eliminate those this year, that ERA of 3.53 will be under 3 this year.
Was it last year he had those back-to-back starts, the one in Texas and the one right before that?
Yeah.
He just got hammered.
It was really 3 in a row, but 2 really bad ones.
He was having trouble with his mechanics, getting a straight line to home plate. Seemed to figure that out and just went on a tear from there.
Might have even been a start in San Diego. I'm not sure.
Well, those are the lifetime numbers.
That number that always appeals to me, and you mentioned it in his last start. 113 starts coming into this game. 49 of them 1 run or less.
Which is now a major league record. He had been even with Dwight Gooden until that last scoreless start against the Padres. He now has more 1 or 0 run starts through his first 113 than anybody in history. And Cabrera takes a strike that he thought for sure was ball 4, but Lance Barrett calls him back.
Well, Barrett, when we've seen him umpire before, he has a wider strike zone on the outside part. But I think Cabrera didn't think that one was not on the corner. It was down.
I thought he did. I thought it was down.
And now he gets ball 4 when he looks back to check.
Don't do that.
Are you sure it's ball 4?
Don't do that.
There's your umpiring crew. Barrett with the plate. Nick Lentz, Bill Welke, and the crew chief Mike Everett.
Well, you know, as a hitter, you know your umpires, and you know maybe there's been with Cabrera
history
there that Cabrera's got a little short fuse with him. But I think the home plate umpire Lance Barrett handled it beautifully.
First walk given up by Newcomb, who tends to walk a bunch. And now Wilmer Flores, who popped up his first time up. Wilmer's 0 for his stretch to 17 at bats. He's had some really good at bats during that stretch, but nothing that's fallen in, and he takes a wide strike.
Well, Wilmer thought, I think that ball was knee high, so Wilmer thought it was outside. That's my feeling. So we got back-to-back moaning and groaning here.
Newcomb's thrown a first pitch strike to 10 of 11 hitters. He gets it in on Flores 0-2. The 0 for 17 is the second longest drought of Flores' career. He had an 0 for 21 back in 2014. I would think, Keith, it's got to be that much harder as you look at the Spectrum high-speed pitch to bite out of an 0 for when you're not playing every day.
Absolutely hard to get in the rhythm. That's why the bench player, oh boy, and the platoon player, it's always better for a veteran. And no, Wilmer's a veteran now, so I think he'll get untracked. We got the warm weather now. Get the kinks out.
Grounds that one toward the hole. Swanson on the backhand and gets the force at second. Nicely done by Swanson for the second out. And Flores on at first.
Little backhand. It's all about the throw here.
There's an entire generation of shortstops that will make that throw with the jump throw.
Nice stretch by Albies.
So 2 out Flores at first, and here's Cespedes, who had a pop fly double that fell in along the right field line. And this time Markakis not playing quite as far toward right center as he was that first at bat. And that leaves a lot of gap in right center. And Cespedes has hit a few balls that way recently.
I don't think Wilmer is going to be trying to steal any bags with Cespedes up.
Well, it's another guy that you could play right behind, especially because there's a left-handed pitcher. Wilmer would not be going anywhere.
Under any circumstances.
Ever.
There's the pull-off again right there. Remember, that's how he was swinging. You know what? Right now, he's feeling so good. He may have been looking middle in and trying to lift and launch one. For 1 strike, fine. Now go to hitting. Well, he can take a cut, can he?
Hope he's not too distraught about the necklace. He lines one, caught by Albies, and that retires the side. Albies perfectly positioned to catch that bullet. We played 3 at Citi Field. Incoming. Ooh, turn your head. No score. Acuna with an ugly hack on deGrom's first pitch of the 4th inning. 33 pitches through 3, 5 strikeouts for deGrom. He has been completely in charge. He's allowed just 1 base runner, a single by Freddie Freeman in the first. And he busts Acuna inside. It's 1-1.
And pitching inside, establishing in, not letting them get comfortable. Love it.
Both these pitchers have faced 23 hitters, 20 first pitch strikes.
Wow. deGrom now working on a stretch of 17 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings.
Good.
Gets that slider on the corner, 2-2.
Folks, just look at the demeanor of deGrom and look at his motion. Effortless. There's no longer any. It's just complete confidence. And it's just so fun to watch.
Now 29 years old. Came up in 2014. Was supposed to be in the bullpen. And ended up starting and winning Rookie of the Year. Next year he was an All-Star. Then he had a little bit of an elbow problem, got that fixed, and was brilliant again. Last year, by far the best pitcher on a noted staff that fell by the wayside, except for Jake. 2-2 coming. Acuna chases a slider, and that's 4 consecutive strikeouts for deGrom, his 6th of the night.
When you get into this mode, you get to a place where it doesn't matter really who's up. You're really playing catch with the catcher. And right there, a slider, young hitter, started on the plate, move it off the plate.
Let's see what he does with Freeman this time. First pitch changeup last time. He gave up the only hit he's allowed. And he comes with a first pitch fastball in tight.
Watch where it starts. And it just pulls itself to his left, the right of Acuna.
Pulled, caught by Flores. 2 out. Time Freeman got a slider.
Freeman can hit.
Doesn't make many easy outs, does he? Good play by Wilmer.
So that's 9 in a row retired by deGrom. And now we'll get Nick Markakis with the bases empty. Markakis flying to right his first time up. And a letter high strike.
I'm seeing more umpires call a higher strike, and I think that's fair. I just think that's letters and knees.
Jammed into center field, a base hit.
Went after Markakis again inside. He jammed in the first time. We got a fly ball to right field. This time Markakis up to the task. Markakis is a good hitter. He's on top of the plate. That's black, Ronnie, and he turns on it quick with the bat. Beautiful swing. Nice, no launch angle there.
So after deGrom set down 9 in a row, Markakis with a 2-out hit, just the 2nd of the night for the Braves, who had 15 hits last night, including 10 against Syndergaard. Now Tyler Flowers, who lined out to center his first time up, and he takes a first pitch fastball for a strike.
That little 2-3 inches off the plate away to the right-handed hitters is there for the taking with Lance Barrett, the home plate umpire. He just will call that pitch off the plate.
It's like old Lee Wire.
Yep.
Lee Wire used to give that 3 inches of the outside corner to the pitcher. Used to drive me crazy.
Well, it always strikes me that where umpires set up now to the inside of the catcher, they've got the inside corner cover. They can see it, and they kind of have to guess about the outside corner.
I think it's an educated guess.
Yeah.
Their years of experience. And don't forget, the catcher's going to move away too and open up that plate for him, Garrett, to get a better look.
0-2. Hit sharply, but right at Rosario. Gets the force. Side retired. deGrom just keeps on throwing up zeros. 18 in the third now without giving up a run. No score going to the bottom of the 4th. Start in the Little League World Series 20 years ago. Kid by the name of Todd Frazier. Could hit a little bit. Could pitch a little bit.
Yes, he could.
He was a big 12-year-old.
What a moment, huh? Bigger than life.
Todd grounded out his first time up tonight.
My first year in Little League, well, second year really, because I had to play for another team. Then my dad got the coaching job of Century Super, which is a grocery chain, Century Super, where I'm from. And he got the team, and I was able to move from one team to the other. So what they did is said, you can have your son Ron on your team, but you can't have any draft picks. So that first year, my brother and I on Century Super went 0-22 as a team.
Really?
Team was wicked bad.
Oh, it's just.
Frazier strikes out to start the bottom of the fourth.
Well, when old Juan took over in Little League when I was 8 years old, Sun Valley Dairy was always winning the championships, and they had
Juan's
the draft.
your dad, John.
My dad. He came in there and said to Mr. Riley, the last place team gets the first pick, and so forth up the line. And that was the end of Sun Valley Dairy's reign as champions.
There was a lot of nefarious drafting going on before Juan laid down the law.
It was like the Yankees in the old days, getting all the top picks.
Branch Rickey stock in the farm system. Jay Bruce flied out his first time up. Sean Newcomb continues to baffle the Mets hitters. He's throwing strikes tonight. Bruce takes one down the left side, foul.
Listen, Newcomb's been very good against the Mets in his 4 starts. This is his 5th. But this is the best. This is the best I've seen him.
He's got good stuff. He's got a good live fastball, a good breaking ball.
It's by far the most strikes he's thrown.
Yeah.
He's thrown 9 straight strikes at the moment. Only walked 1. And the curveball sits inside, 1-2. 2.78 ERA in his first 4 starts against the Mets. Made his debut against the Mets last season. Well, Paul Sewald is beginning to loosen in the Mets bullpen. That's hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes Markakis. He's got room on the warning track. 2 out. Bruce comes up a little shy. 2 out and nobody on.
We're getting some reports that deGrom went in the tunnel and Sewald's up throwing.
That's a bit of a shock, because there certainly did not appear to be anything amiss with deGrom in the last inning. Just 46 pitches in the first 4 innings.
He's not. Sewald is not in any hurry to get loose down there.
Well, if deGrom leaves because of injury, he's got as long as he needs. Let's see what this is all about.
Nope.
Says something to Island.
Nope.
Got hands on hips, so he's
hands on the hips is not a good sign.
Yeah. So we'll follow that development. Yeah, that's not a happy camper going down the tunnel.
That is distressing.
Newcomb with a chance for his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. And Lagares pops one foul. I'll go on the crowd. Dave Allen looks like he was down the tunnel talking to deGrom, and now bringing whatever news he has back to Mickey Callaway. And they don't look very happy.
No.
They are the same as we are here in the booth.
A little stunned.
A pall has come over the booth here.
Time for plan B. 3-2 to Lagares with 2 out, and it's on the outside corner.
Oh boy.
And
Yes.
Barrett continues to call that wide strike against the right-hand hitters. That retires the side. Paul Sewald is coming into the game. deGrom out because of an apparent injury. We'll have more when we come back. Tennis will receive a Jay Bruce t-shirt courtesy of First Data. Purchase tickets at Mets.com/tickets. Final game of this series tomorrow afternoon. Jason Vargas makes his second start against the Braves ace Julio Teheran, who's pushed back a day because of a back issue. Meanwhile, this was Jacob deGrom when he gave up the hit to Nick Markakis.
A little bit of a wince, huh?
Well, one thing we do know is that he had some back issues during spring training, and we have no idea what is going on with Jake now. All we know is he's out of the game after 4 stellar innings, and Paul Sewald is on to replace him.
Sewald's been one of the unsung heroes out in that bullpen, eating up lots of innings. He's going to be asked to do it again.
Pitched 2 innings in the final game of the road trip in San Diego. 2 strong innings, scoreless ball.
Never better than in that second inning of work on Sunday. Second and third, nobody out. He struck out 3 hitters in a row to get out of the jam without a run. Dansby Swanson, Ryan Flaherty, and then the pitcher Sean Newcomb up against Sewald in the 5th. Swanson struck out his first time up against deGrom, who gave up 2 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts in his 4 innings, just 46 pitches before exiting. And Sewald takes care of Swanson on 3 pitches for the first out in the 5th.
Sewald worked awfully hard this winter, and you can see it in his pitches. His slider is sharper, his changeup is getting outs against left-handers, and he still has that, I don't know, Houdini fastball that they just swing through and miss.
Well, before he used to be 1 speed, and now he's developed a changeup, Ronnie, against the left-handers. And you would notice against Swanson, takes a little off the breaking ball, a little bit off speed on that breaking ball.
Fastball strike to Flaherty. You know, we always used to talk about Addison Reed's fastball. He'd throw it 91 miles an hour without a whole lot of movement and got lots of swings and misses. And we're seeing the same with Sewald.
Well, I think you're in an age where you never have seen more guys that are standing taller, trying to get that angle from top to bottom. And Sewald's more of those guys in the 50s and 60s, drop and drive, get low, pitching from bottom to top. So hitters are seeing a fastball coming from a little different angle.
A little Sid Fernandez-ish.
Yeah.
Pitching uphill.
Bill Monbouquet, when I first came to the Mets, he was the pitching coach, and That was his phrase. Drop and drive, Ronnie. Well, mom ball, I'm really having trouble with the slider. Just drop and drive.
1-2 to Flaherty. And it's outside.
Should have listened to him. He had a no-hitter.
You had a good career, too. With no dropping and driving. Flaherty lines one to right to Rosario. 2 out.
You know, we saw deGrom, who has incredible long arm action, but really for Sewald, takes it out of the glove and brings it right to his ear. It's not all about the extension, the velocity. He's about making sure that those pitches are on the corners.
Now Newcomb, who took a call third strike his first time up. And now 1-2. So deGrom exits the game having thrown 18 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings. 3 straight starts without allowing a run. Last time the Mets had a starting pitcher go 3 straight starts without allowing a run, Bartolo Colon, in the latter stages of 2015. Of course, this one gets a big asterisk next to it with only 4 innings and leaving because of apparent injury.
There you go.
On the inside corner, Newcomb caught looking, and Sewald picks up right where deGrom left off. 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts. Still no score. .39 that the Iron Horse's streak came to an end. Lou Gehrig had played 2,130 consecutive games, but his strength was waning. He didn't know at that point that he had a fatal disease, which would later bear his name. But he took himself out of the lineup, and that great streak had come to an end.
You notice the largest circulation in the nation.
And on the other corner, the final, because the additions came in waves.
Home fifth inning, Ahmed Rosario has one of the Mets' 2 hits tonight against Sean Newcomb, a single to left center in the second. Newcomb's given up 2 hits, a pop fly double to Cespedes, and an 0-2 base hit to Rosario, and that's been it. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts for Newcomb, who has looked terrific. Ball and a strike to Rosario. Lobatone on deck, then the pitcher's spot. Mets bullpen is quiet, so it would appear that Seawald will stay in to go multiple innings. A fastball by Newcomb, 1-2. And Rosario down on strikes. That's 6 tonight for Newcomb. So 1 out and nobody out. Let's go to the Porsche Grill and to Steve Gelbs. His report tonight is brought to you by Porsche. Steve.
Well, Gary, one thing we noticed last night was that Ahmed Rosario was having discussions with Yoenis Cespedes after at-bats in the dugout. And Rosario says it's something the coaching staff has really implored him to do, to really pick the brains of various veterans on the team. And the one thing that Rosario has been trying to focus on is what certain guys do well, picking that particular part of their brain and then moving forward from there. As Lobaton breaks his bat, tremendous play though by Albie, so 2 away. And the thing that he's really talking about with Cespedes is how to get through a tough time. That's what Rosario is going through right now. And he noticed in the beginning of the season when Cespedes was going through some really tough times, his demeanor didn't seem to change. His patience in himself didn't seem to change. And so he said those conversations with Cespedes are about trusting yourself, knowing you're going to get through the difficult times, and really trying to keep things loose when things can seem overwhelming as a young player.
Well, if you're lucky enough to have a veteran player who's going to share that information after each and every at-bat, I think that's amazing. It's almost like going through the autopsy of an at-bat, right? Letting the young player know what he was thinking and how he just missed that pitch or he had me in between. I think that's good stuff, don't you think, Keith?
I agree 100%, Ronnie. I agree about most anything that comes out of your mouth. That's mostly most of the time.
That would be so boring if it were actually true. Seawald strikes out. That's 7 for Newcomb through the first 5 innings. So we've got a scoreless game as we head to the 6th at Citi Field. Relief. I love this close-up view. Really gives you an idea of the kind of velocity the hitters have to deal with.
Well, and to let you fans at home know, he's probably thrown at about 65%. 70%, 75 tops. It's when that adrenaline rush comes in, when the hitter's in, that you start to max out.
Ender Inciarte leads off in the 6th inning in a scoreless game. Inciarte struck out against deGrom his first time up, and the first pitch breaking ball misses badly for ball 1. Inciarte, then Albies and Acuna for the Braves. Highest scoring team in the National League has been stymied so far tonight. Inciarte flies one down the left field line. Cespedes giving chase, and it lands foul. Well, we've been doing a little forensics trying to figure out what has happened to Jacob deGrom. This is a bat in the 3rd inning.
I mean, you know, it's hard to say because we don't want to speculate, but it's almost like something grabbed as he winces. That's the first wince, and we saw one later on the base hit to Markakis.
It was in the following half inning, and then he came out after the top of the 4th. And we'll wait for a medical report. Inciarte pops this one up to shallow left. Rosario with the angle toward the tarp, but runs out of room.
Good old hustle by Ahmed.
One-two coming. Inciarte hooks that into right field for a base hit. Bruce chasing it. Inciarte will head to second, and he's in standing with the leadoff double. First extra base hit of the night for the Braves, and they've got a runner at second with nobody out.
Tried to get a little off-speed breaking ball on Inciarte. I want to see where the catcher's set up here. He's out in front, so it was off speed. Let go with one hand. And that's a leadoff double. And the Braves are in business here. It looks like Lobaton set up away.
So now Ozzie Albies, the Mets shorten up at the corners. Albies struck out twice against deGrom. And he's not even hinting at a bunt as he pops one up to shallow left. Cespedes comes in to call. And that's the first out, a big one for Sewald.
And a young hitter right there with no intent to try to get the runner over on a 0-0 ball game, but tie game late.
Just hit himself in the head.
At least he didn't punch himself in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Ken Giles last night.
No, but he hit himself in the head. That lets you know that, you know what, he knows what he did wrong. That's all good for a young player. I mean, my kids are 20, just trying to get them to make their bed. These guys are trying to get knocks.
Here's Acuna, who's 0 for 2, and he takes a knee-high changeup for a strike.
And as Ronnie's always said, the easiest pitch for a left-hander to pull is the ball away, not the ball up and in. And that's the pitch you want to lay off. And he swung it up and in, and that's why he's angry at himself.
Inciarte at second and one out, and Sewald misses away, a ball and a strike. Well, the Braves have done a lot of damage with runners in scoring position. We talked during this series and during the last one as well about the kind of contact team they are, and that has led to that inflated number with runners in scoring position, 40 points above their overall season batting average.
And 279 with 2 outs on the runners in scoring position. That's outstanding.
Slider inside, and it's 2-1.
Danny Barr, director, thanks for the shot. Look at how shallow the Garris is in center field. He probably plays the shallowest center field of anyone in the game.
Cespedes is shallow.
And this is a kid at the plate with a lot of power. Sewald falls behind 3-1 with Freddie Freeman looming on deck.
He's lost a little bite in the second inning on that slider. Pick your poison. 20-year-old or the veteran.
Get this guy and you got an open base.
And Acuna goes after the fastball, and it's 3-2.
Good spot.
that pitch just off the outside corner against the right-hand batters has been called a strike often enough. You'd be silly not to use it.
Well, remember, he struck out a couple times against deGrom on sliders away. So fastball away, slider away.
Grounded foul. Acuna Jr., whose dad played in the Mets farm system for 5 years in the early 2000s. Never made it to the big leagues, topped out at Double-A, but his son, well, his son, the sky is the limit. 3-2. And jammed and fouled it off.
That swing right there tells me that he's looking for something out over the plate.
Yes,
you can come in and get a strike.
Yeah, he fought that pitch off to stay in the at-bat.
This is a point where you could get him out inside with a painted fastball, but it's not Sewald's game. It's not what he does.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat from Sewald to Acuna, and he fouls it back. No, this is not good. The word on Jacob deGrom, he suffered a hyperextended right elbow.
Oh, no.
Oh.
No, just the word elbow.
On a pitch or a swing?
We'll have to find that out later. But that's the word on deGrom. He came out with a hyperextended right elbow. And the surest bet the Mets have had is no longer as sure a bet. Acuna pops one up into center field. Tagging at second is Inciarte. Lagares puts it away. Inciarte heads to third and makes it safely, but that's the second out. So Sewald wins that battle from Acuna.
See what they do with Freddie. They give him 4.
Oh no, Markakis been so hot
I
behind.
know. Pick your poison, right? Freddie has been so solid with men on base, hitting in the clutch.
Does not have an official at bat against Sewald.
Gary, 429 with runners in scoring position with 2 outs, over 400 with runners in scoring position, period.
Goes after him with a first pitch changeup, 0-1.
That is a new weapon that Sewald has developed against a left-hander, and it's a natural sink. It's a good pitch.
Just going to have to make sure he pauses at the belt a little longer. That exchange was very quick. Call a balk on you.
Want to be doing that with a runner at third. Scoreless game, 6th inning. And the fastball is up, 1-1. Freeman has a base hit and then lined out to first base his last time up. 3 for 7 in this series. Freeman floats one shallow left center. That's going to drop for a base hit, and the Braves take the lead. He didn't hit it well, but he hit it well enough. Dropped it into left center to drive in Inciarte with the game's first run, and it's 1-0 Atlanta.
Well, better to be lucky than good sometimes, and this is just good hitting. A up and in fastball, not in enough, but he still got inside on Freddie, and he just muscles it. That's a bloop. That's a break for the Braves.
22nd run batted in for Freeman.
He knew right away, as we did here in the booth, as soon as it was off the bat, you knew it was in no man's land.
So Inciarte with the leadoff double. He comes around to score the game's first run. And now Markakis takes a fastball for a strike. Markakis 1 for 2, single to center his last time up. Do we have any experience with hyperextended elbows. I mean, there's so many issues with elbows, and UCLs are the thing you worry about the most. But do we know what exactly a hyperextended elbow would mean?
I can't do it with my right arm anymore, but I was trying to like hyperextend, or at least push my arm out and to see kind of what that would feel like, and I have no idea. I really don't. I don't know what kind of recovery you would have. The thing that would alarm me if it happened to me, how do I know it's not going to happen again on a swing or on a thrown pitch? That the unknown, I think, would be the thing that would really bother me.
I want to know if he did it throwing a pitch or swinging a bat.
Well, we saw him win swinging the bat. We saw him grimace after throwing a pitch, so there's really no way of knowing for sure. Grounded past Flores into right field. Markakis with a base hit. Freeman will go first to third. So the third hit of the inning against Sewald, and now the Braves, with a run already in, have first and third and 2 out. Second hit of the night for Markakis.
Well, Markakis is a fine hitter.
And he's red hot right now. 9-game hitting streak for Markakis. Dave Island out to talk to Sewald. I guess the other question is it something that happened specifically in this game? Is it something that was presenting itself going into the game? I mean, there was certainly no evidence in terms of his performance that would lead you to believe there was anything wrong.
I mean, I was telling you guys before, I thought he tired in San Diego, but you both were saying that wasn't his best stuff. The stuff in the prior start in Atlanta was better. Of course, he looked as good as you could ever look tonight against a team that's red hot.
Big batter here for Sewald, facing Tyler Flowers, who's lined to center and hit into a force play. First and third and 2 out. And he bloops one into shallow center. Lagares coming on, and that retires the side. But the Braves break through with the game's first run on Freddie Freeman's RBI single. 1-0 Atlanta. First career leadoff home run for Harper. Imagine if he led off every day. Johan Camargo's in to play shortstop, so Dansby Swanson is out of the game. No obvious reason why that has happened.
These guys were fine when the weather was 32 degrees. We throw them 75, and they're dropping like flies.
Asdrubal Cabrera, a strikeout and a walk against Sean Newcomb, who now has the lead for the first time. And Cabrera bounces one down to Flaherty at third. One pitch and one out for Newcomb in the sixth. G pitch cast for Sean Newcomb.
Well, we're lucky enough to let you know that Lance Parrott likes to call that ball away and down, and that's really been the theme to this game for both pitchers. Newcomb, who's still in there, and of course deGrom before he left with the injury. Off the plate and away to right-handed hitters is the favorite for Lance Parrott. He sees that better, I guess, or worse, whatever way you want to put it.
So here would be my question as a pitcher, Ronnie.
Yes.
As Wilmer Flores shows Bunton takes a strike, do you game plan for an umpire?
Oh, absolutely. Big time. You know, what used to happen when I played is that the umpires were in the National American League. So everyone in the National League, you knew their history, unless they were a rookie umpire. So I could tell you that Frank Pulley used to love to call the same pitch that Lance Parrott loves to call. Lee Wire used to like to call the pitch off the plate. Dutch Renner used to like to call the pitch up. I mean, it was
low.
Sorry, low. Everyone had their own strike zone within the real strike zone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So do you? I guess the question I would ask is: you factor in your strengths, you factor in the hitter's weaknesses. Where does the umpire's proclivities fit in with that?
What happens for you as a pitcher is that you hold it in your back pocket. So what I would do is that if I get in trouble, I always know that I can go out and get a strike. Let's say Keith is up. I'm facing him. It's 2-0. Not Keith. That's your right-handed hitter. Mike Schmidt is up. It's 2-0. I know I can throw one 3 inches off the plate away, get a strike. He's going to call it, and Schmidt's not going to swing at it because he's taught not to swing at a ball 2-0 off the pitch away, off the plate away.
Sean Newcomb working into the sixth inning. Through 6 1/3 against the Mets in his debut last year, has never gone further than that. Wilmer gets one in the air to left field, and Acuna is there. And so Newcomb has retired the first two after getting the lead, and now he'll face Cespedes with the bases empty.
You know, Newcomb for his career really is a 5-inning pitcher because of the walks that you illustrated, Gary. He's never been able, pitch count wise, to get deep in the games. This is about as good as you're going to see him.
He's only walked 1 today, struck out 7. Guy who has averaged 5 walks per 9 innings over the course of his career. Cespedes hit 1 ball poorly and got a double, hit 1 ball hard and was retired on a line drive out. It all evens out in the end. Game summary: Jacob deGrom leaving because of a hyperextended elbow after 4 brilliant innings. Braves getting a run off Paul Sewald in the 6th. Sean Newcomb has made it stand up so far. Now he falls behind on Cespedes 2-0. Yoenis has 7 hits in his last 9 at bats, and look at that. Not striking out nearly as much as he was earlier in the year. Still leads the league with 43 strikeouts, and he takes that one on the corner. A changeup, 2-1.
Yeah, 2-0 changeup, not one to swing at right there. Pitcher's pitch. I dare you to do it again.
Back with a fastball, and it's 2-2.
Newcomb, I tell you what, he's not afraid out there. I'm impressed.
Well, you dropped the comp on him, Ronnie, and you have several times when we've seen him with John Lester, and he's looking more like Lester tonight.
Well, he has a chance to be that. He's a big-bodied, left-handed guy. If he throws strikes, he's got the stuff to be successful.
And he goes upstairs to get Cespedes. Newcomb's retired 11 in a row. He's got 8 strikeouts for the night. We head for the 7th at Citi Field, 1-0 Atlanta. Paul Sewald starts his third inning of relief. Johan Camargo up for the first time. Took over for Dansby Swanson, and we don't know why. Takes a slider for a strike. Camargo hitting .294 in limited playing time. He was the most of the time third baseman down the stretch last year for Atlanta. But with Ryan Flaherty hitting well out of the box, and now Jose Bautista signed and apparently ticketed for at some point coming up and playing third base for the Braves, although he hasn't hit much down in the minors. Camargo's kind of been cast aside. Half swing, and he stopped it in time. 2-1. Ryan Flaherty on deck, then the pitcher's spot. The Braves just starting the bullpen going. Remember, we told you Newcomb does not often go past 6. Camargo lifts one out to left center. Back in the gap goes Lagares to get it. 1 out. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has another game break. Marlins have won 4 in a row after winning in 10 innings last night. There's Ryan Flaherty, who's 0 for 2. Nice play by Cabrera to get him in the second. A line drive to short in the 5th.
Ureña's got to have the worst run production in baseball. Just don't score any runs for him.
Lagares with another chance, and there are 2 out. Lagares has caught the last 4 outs. Doug Williams and SNY MLB insider Andy Martino discussed the Mets' recent hitting woes in the back end of the starting rotation. They might be discussing the front end now too.
Yep.
And Matt Harvey's not in the town. On the latest Shea Anything podcast, search SNY Mets and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. So Newcomb's going to stay in. He's only pitched into the 7th inning once in his career, and that was against the Mets in his debut last year. He went 6 1/3, and apparently he's going to start the 7th on the mound tonight. Struck out in both his at bats. Goes after a high fastball, 1-1.
We tend to be almost like a 3.5-hour podcast here. We're the cross between a podcast and maybe the Larry Sanders Show. It's kind of what we have here at times.
But you'd have to put us in a pod.
Yeah, well, this is pod-like, I'll tell you that.
It's a little bit bigger than the Apollo capsule.
That's right.
Here we are. Hello. That's us.
It's a good seat, though.
Would you move over a little bit, Ron?
We have literally 5 feet between Gary and I when you're not here, when we did the 2-man booth. I'm up against the wall.
Yeah, but
he goes, you know, he's always in the same spot.
But you don't know what I do.
But when Keith's not here, he moves all the way over
here.
Why?
into your seat.
You do?
Because I like Gary.
You just like having all that room off to your right.
Are you boxing him out?
No, I like the middle better, and I got more room over here. So I go over to your spot.
Ronnie gravitates toward your spot. You gravitate toward his.
It's kind of funny.
The grass is always greener. Sewald having trouble putting away Newcomb. 7 pitches deep into this at bat. The good news is that we'll all be here tomorrow. Nobody will encroach on anybody's space. Fly ball out to left, pretty well hit. Cespedes is back. Warning track over the shoulder, can't get it. It hits the wall. And Newcomb pulls it at second base with an opposite field double. Well, that was quite a turn at bat for Newcomb. 8 pitches, and then he almost smoked one out of the ballpark.
I mean, 2 for 38 lifetime before this swing.
2 strikeouts coming into this at bat. And you know you're going to play a pitcher shallow, and Cespedes got over his head. Short hop the wall.
First career extra base hit for Newcomb, and only the 2nd hit for an opposing pitcher against the Mets this season. So now Inciarte, who scored the only run of this game after doubling to lead off the 6th, has a chance to get a run home in the 7th. It's the 4th hit against Seawald in 2 2/3 innings. And Inciarte slugs one out to right. Bruce going back to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. Ender Inciarte with his first home run of the season, a 2-run shot after the pitcher Newcomb kept the inning alive. And now it's 3-0 Atlanta in the 7th. Ender Inciarte, who has been an enormous thorn in the Mets side since the day he arrived with the Braves, puts another dagger into the Mets, this time with a 2-run homer.
Very compact swing. Ball inside. There's the setup, and it is inside, and he just turned on it.
If there's any place in this ballpark when it starts to heat up that there's some carry, to me it's right there.
Ozzie Albies drives one to right. Bruce is in front of this one. That retires the side, but a damaging top of the 7th. Seawald retired the first 2 batters. A long battle with the pitcher Newcomb resulted in a double. Very next pitch, Ender Inciarte goes deep for the first time in 123 at bats this year, ruining Seawald's day. Mets down 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Sean Newcomb has thrown 6 scoreless innings. Todd Frazier leads off and takes the backdoor curveball for a strike. Todd is 0 for 2 tonight, grounded out and struck out. It has been a miserable night for the Mets on every conceivable front. Frazier flies one out to center, and Inciarte barely has to move. 1 out, and with that, Sean Newcomb has equaled the longest outing of his career. He's now retired 12 in a row. Mets box score presented by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Pop fly double for Cespedes. Base hit for Rosario. That was in the 2nd, and the Mets haven't had a hit since.
Well, they've only had 3 base runners, 2 base hits and a walk.
Jay Bruce hit one to the warning track in right field that Markakis caught his last time up. Sean Newcomb has evolved into a strike thrower tonight, and another first pitch strike with a breaking ball.
I said before that he and deGrom had combined for 20 of 23 first pitch strikes. He has it on his own now. He's faced 23 hitters, 20 first pitch strikes.
What a change. Sam Freeman, first man up in the Atlanta bullpen, one of 4 left-handers the Braves have in that pen. 24-year-old Sean Newcomb, University of Hartford product, first-round pick by the Braves, by the Angels in 2014. Came to the Braves in the trade for Andrelton Simmons, and he has been spectacular. And now he's gone 6 2/3 for the first time in his career as Bruce grounds out.
You know, this is a little thing right here in that ground ball. I don't know if you noticed, Gary, Ron. It's just a minor thing. It's a routine ground ball, yes. But Albies is out 10, 12, 15 feet in the outfield grass. He rushed in and got in on the dirt because that ball can hit the lip of the grass and take a bad hop. He just took that out of play. It's really nice. It's very heads up.
Now Juan Lagares is grounded out and struck out 0 for 2. Final game of this series, day game tomorrow. We'll join you at 12:30 with all the coverage. Jason Vargas makes his second start for the Mets. Julio Teheran goes for the Braves. Slapped down to first. Corralled by Freeman. Side retired. 14 in a row retired by Sean Newcomb. He's gone 7 scoreless with a 3-0 lead. Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Watch SNY Mets games on the go on any device with live streaming presented by Verizon. Just visit SNY.TV or download the NBC Sports app today for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. 8th inning, Robert Gazelman on to pitch for New York.
Numbers just through the roof. Just really has taken to this bullpen, has Robert.
You see the 0-0-0 versus lefties. He'll have Freeman and Markakis to face in this inning. See if that can stand up. First, Ronald Acuna, who's gone 0 for 3 today, and takes the curveball high for ball 1. Paul Sewald, 3 innings in relief, allowed 3 runs, 5 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts, a home run, and he is on the hook in this game. If you are just making connection with this game, the big story is Jacob deGrom, who left the game after 4 scoreless innings with a hyperextended right elbow. And what that means as far as length of time on the sidelines, we just don't know. Hit sharply right at the shortstop. Rosario's got it and throws low, and Wilmer handles it for the first down.
It's not good.
The next time deGrom's spot would come up in the rotation would be the first game in Cincinnati next week. So the Mets have until then to figure out how to handle that, whether it means moving somebody out of the bullpen, and you've got lots of choices there: Gazelman, Lugo, Harvey.
I think it's going to come down to Lugo and Harvey.
Or do you go down and bring up Corey Oswalt and let him start? Certainly did a fine job the one game he pitched in long relief when the Mets called him up. Freddie Freeman drove in the first run for the Braves with a 2-out single in the 6th. He's 2 for 3 today. And Gesellman falls behind him 2-0. Freddie fouls off the breaking ball, 2-1.
Freddie just looks very comfortable up there.
What is with Freddie swinging at a curveball 2-0? It's an interesting choice, isn't it?
I think he liked it.
He liked it.
I think he's zoned in right now.
Smacks that one to right center, and that's the first hit that Gesellman's given up to a lefty this year. And no surprise, it would be Freddie Freeman, his 3rd hit of the night.
3 for 4. Magic wand. Harry Potter got nothing on Freddie. Well, he can hit.
He's no muggle.
No. Choke up action by Freddie.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Markakis, who has 2 hits tonight. Single to center, single to right.
Here's Freddie's swing here. Watch his follow through, how high the bat goes. And he breaks his wrist late too. He doesn't like do the wraparound like Mike Piazza used to wrap it around his shoulder blades. It's an interesting, unique swing.
And that's line to right. Bruce hustling over, but it's up the gap and it'll go to the wall. Freeman heads to 3rd. He's going to be waved around. The relay throw by Cabrera, not in time. An RBI double for Markakis, his 3rd hit of the night. And it's 4-0 Atlanta.
Markakis laser beam into the gap.
The ball had a little spin on it that worked its way away from Bruce, but look at the swing, Keith.
Right on it. He's got a nice level swing. I like Markakis' swing. This ball just no chance for Bruce.
So back-to-back hits for the lefties against Gesellman. Produce a run, and here's Tyler Flowers, who's 0 for 3 tonight.
I know the game was close, but the air went out of this game when deGrom left.
Well, this is about as depressing a turn of events as the Mets could ever anticipate. I mean, for a team that's been sitting in first place since April 3rd, that could come to an end tonight.
That's right.
And despite a 17-10 record, there are very few things you can point to on this team and say that is really working.
Yeah.
And deGrom is, along with Asdrubal Cabrera, I guess you'd have to say, are the 2 things you can unequivocally say have been working every day. 1-2 to Flowers.
It's like I've seen that movie too, you know.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, we have no idea how long Jake might be out for. What we know is that last year was April 30th when Syndergaard got hurt, and that took the air out of the whole season. Yeah. You certainly hope this is nothing of that ilk, but it comes only 2 days later on the calendar. Chopped off the plate, a foul ball. 1-2 to Flowers.
So if Newcomb's out of this game, I had our great statistician Dave carved this up for me. 33 innings by the starting pitchers of the Braves in the 5 games, only 4 earned runs allowed. 1.09 ERA.
Buttering up Dave, I see.
Might need him later.
Pulled down to 3rd. Frazier's got it. Looks the runner back and gets the out on Flowers 2 away. Well, if he really was going to puff him up, he'd use his last name.
I asked him to do something. I very rarely do. Good play by Frazier on the backhand. Strong throw.
You're ahead of the game because I ask him to do stuff all the time and he just shakes his head.
Yeah, he just doesn't do it.
Well, he does it. You just can't understand his writing. He's passing information along, but it's in hieroglyphics.
Sam Freeman looks like he's getting ready to pitch the bottom of the 8th. Johan Camargo up for the second time, flied out in the 7th inning. Came in for Dansby Swanson, and we've not heard any report on why Swanson came out of the game.
He was 0 for 2 and looked bad, and with 2 strikeouts.
All 4 runs tonight against the Mets bullpen, 3 against Sewald in his 3 innings, 1 against Gesellman here in the 8th. And that misses inside to Camargo, 2-1. Camargo drives one toward the gap in left center, back toward the wall, and it's out of here. Johan Camargo with an opposite field 2-run homer. And the Braves have blown the doors off this game. It's now 6-0 Atlanta. Camargo, who had a big triple against the Mets in Atlanta, now has his 2nd home run of the year, and the Braves' 2nd home run of the night.
Well, he pointed out that Gesellman had not given up a hit to a left-handed hitter, but he had to go through Freeman, Markakis, and then Camargo. All get him.
Doesn't have
safe.
It doesn't have the sinker ball here. Look at that, just kind of running flat, not on top of it enough to get the sink. It's just running away flat.
Well, the Braves offense was dormant for the first 5 innings tonight, but they have sparked to life. The highest scoring team in the National League has now put up a 6th spot. One to Flaherty. Preston Tucker has come out on deck. He'll pinch hit if Flaherty keeps the inning going.
It's not only run, Keith, it's also up. Gesellman's ball is up in the strike zone.
Flaherty slugs one out to center. A long run back to Lagares. It's over his head and off the wall. And the signal home run. Did that look like a home run? I thought that hit just above the 408 sign.
But no argument from Lagares in center field.
Let's see.
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah.
That's a good call. Hit the black.
Yeah, there was no argument from Lagares.
So back-to-back home runs for Camargo and Flaherty. Flaherty's 2nd of the year, and Gesellman getting slugged around by the left-hand hitters in this inning after not giving up a hit to a lefty all season. He's given up 4 of them in this inning. 2 of them have left the ballpark, and it's now 7-0 Atlanta.
Well, you said it, Ron. He's up, and when a sinker ball pitcher is up, it flattens out. Have to lift down on the knees.
Well, this has turned into a thoroughly deflating night for the Mets. Now Preston Tucker will pinch it. Tucker was getting most of the reps in left field before Ronald Acuna came up, hitting .276 for the year. Tucker had a base hit as a pinch hitter last night.
So the last 6 left-handed hitters against Sewald and Gesellman, 3 home runs, 2 doubles and a single.
until recently, neither one had given up a hit to a lefty this year.
Right.
I think the first one off Seawald was the Dexter Fowler game-winning hit in St. Louis. And now Gesellman getting plastered by the left-hand hitters. He sells that one up and away. 1-2 to Tucker. Slider off the plate. 2-2.
What is that, Gary? 26 hits in 2 days by the Bravos?
Which is pretty impressive when you consider they only had 2 hits in the first 5 innings of this game. They've got 9 hits in the last 3 innings. And Gesellman just can't put this inning to bed. 3-2. AJ Ramos getting loose in the bullpen. Gesellman having thrown 27 pitches already in this inning. And Tucker rolls one out for Frazier. That retires the side. But back-to-back homers by Camargo and Flaherty open up this game. 7-0 Atlanta in the 8th. Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, dedicated to advancing cancer research, treatment, and care. More science, less fear. By Verizon, the most awarded network is now the best streaming network. And by Old Dominion Freight Line, official freight carrier of MLB. Visit odfl.com for more information. Sam Freeman on in relief for Atlanta.
Freeman's been touched up of late. He had a good ERA, but he's been struggling with his control. 10 walks and a little over 11 innings pitched.
Sean Newcomb was just tremendous for 7 innings. No runs, 2 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, a wild pitch, 97 pitches, and he retired the last 14 mad hitters. Mets' last base runner was Asdrubal Cabrera, who walked with 1 out in the 3rd. And we're now in the 8th. Say Lobaton on deck, and then the pitcher's spot for the Mets in the 8th. Braves with a run in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and 4 in the 8th to break this game open. Rosario chases the splitter by Freeman, and it's 1-2.
Nice shot right there.
As you see in Andrew Jones' jersey. That's lined toward the middle, but there's Camargo to snag it for the first down. Just invoked Andrew Jones's name last night.
That's right. He was 19, right? Now, did he hit that in the World Series? Or did he come out?
His first home run?
Yeah.
He hit 2 in the World Series that year at age 19. Did he not have a regular season home run before that?
I don't know. Again, that was through the black years.
In any event, Acuna was the youngest to hit a home run for the Braves since Andrew Jones. Here's Jose Lobaton, is 0 for 2. And he takes a knee-high strike. Brandon Nimmo out on deck to pinch hit for New York. Yeah, Andrew had 5 in his rookie year in '96 before the World Series. Pretty good for a teenager.
Yeah.
Grounded down to third. Bobbled momentarily by Flaherty, but plenty of time to throw out Lobaton. And that is 16 straight Mets who've been retired. Now 2 out and nobody on.
Whoa, lucky me. He wanted to use 2 hands and he didn't get that hand there.
So now Brandon Nimmo to pinch hit. Nimmo fouled out as a pinch hitter last night. AJ Ramos getting ready to pitch the top of the 9th inning in the Mets bullpen. And Nimmo goes after a first pitch fastball, 0-1.
You know, my first thought was, you know, why waste Nimmo here in case something happened where you could use him later. They're probably just trying to get him at bats, right? Keep him fresh.
Threw that one right by him there. Had a lot of plate.
I mean, if you don't throw 96, you might as well not even get in the bullpen. Everybody throws 96.
And Freeman takes care of Nimmo on 3 pitches to end the inning. That's 17 straight Mets who have been retired. We go to the 9th, 7-0 Atlanta.
You wouldn't have been here in the 70s.
I wouldn't be caught dead with that.
There's your line score. Scoreless game until the 6th, but the Braves have mashed the Mets bullpen for 7 runs in the last 3 innings. Now A.J. Ramos will come on and pitch the top of the 9th.
Well, Ramos in cleanup duty here, the pitch in the 9th. What I'm going to find interesting after the game, hearing Nelson and Gary talk about it, is not really Jacob, because you know, when you're a player and you get injured, it's not a lot to say, but it's going to be interesting to see the manager. And I know it's going to be the cliche business as usual. We have to go out there and fight. But this is a different kind of injury to a different kind of player.
Well, the manager is going to have to keep a chin up here, and obviously it's a tough loss. We don't know the full extent of it, but doesn't sound good. The manager's got to keep a stiff upper lip, so to speak.
That's hooked down the right field line by Albies, and it goes foul. Well, you'd have to say it's the first, or by Inciarte, excuse me. It's the first real adversity that Mickey Callaway has faced. I mean, this team got off to an 11-1 start, and that cured whatever ills there might have been. And well, now they've been struggling the last couple of weeks. If they don't rally in the 9th, they're going to fall out of first place for the first time in nearly a month. Then you lose your best pitcher on top of that for whatever period of time that might be. And all of a sudden it's not all sunshine and roses anymore, and it's been really easy for Mickey to say whatever little things have gone wrong, hey, we're still in first place. Well, now they might not be.
There'll be a lot of things that he'll have to do, but this will be the first most important thing he'll have to do as Mets manager, will be these next 24 hours, in my opinion.
And how will that manifest itself?
I don't think it'll manifest itself as 2 ways. Okay, one, I think it'll manifest itself in the way he addresses players as a group and as individuals. But the most important will be on the field. Who does he decide to be 1/5 of that rotation?
I have my feeling is it's going to be Seth Lugo. That's my feeling, and that's just my opinion, and I'm totally speculating.
Well, I know there's strike 3 called, and Inciarte is out to start the top of the 9th. I know there will be a certain expectation on Matt Harvey's part that that's his spot. I don't think that the Mets are ready to move him back into the rotation right now.
Yeah,
and a lot of things could happen before the next 5 days, and then when that turn comes up, the next turn.
Well, I think it's what you said, Gary. When you have a team that has really played hard and have really gotten some big timely hits and some timely outs from their pitchers, they've had 2 constants, and when you lose one of those constants, who knows how long it's going to be. I just think it's important that Mickey's going to have to be as big as he's always thought he'd have to be as a manager.
I will. There's a fly ball. It should be an easy play for Lagares. I harken back, Ron, to 87 when we lost you in September. You were our best pitcher down the stretch. We're beating the Cardinals. We wind up losing that game with a very deflating loss. Cardinals went on that year to go on and win like 19 out of 21, something like ridiculous. We didn't fold. We had to, but it was a big blow for us in that clubhouse.
There's Acuna with 2 out, and he chases a slider, 0-1. Well, and also, we've talked so much over the first month of the season about the back end of the Mets rotation. Well, now other than Syndergaard, everybody's the back end of the rotation for as long as deGrom might be out. And it's incumbent upon everybody that we're talking about, whether it be Wheeler or Vargas or Matz, to do better, because so far nobody has carried the load that needs to be carried by a starting pitching staff that was supposed to be this team's strength.
Yeah,
and hasn't been, other than deGrom and Syndergaard.
You're right, Gary, and just not incrementally better. I mean, pitch to where they think they should be and where the team thinks that their talent should be.
One-two coming, and Acuna strikes out on a pitch in the dirt, and that retires the side. So a 1-2-3 inning for Ramos with a couple of strikeouts. Last licks for the Mets when we come back.
We got a lot of baseball, we got some football talk, and we got some Knicks head coaching search talk. But right now, I'm just doing a little research because about Keith's cat, because it's what the baby wants.
Oh, Hodge.
We go to the bottom of the ninth at Citi Field, and the 39-year-old Aussie Peter Moylan tries to put on the finishing touches.
Well, now has appeared in 330. This is his 331st game as a Brave.
3 different stints, a whole lot of injuries. Cabrera rolls one into the shift. Ozzie Albies is there to play it. 1 pitch and 1 out for Moylan, the 18th straight Met to be retired. You can win a trip to Universal Orlando Resort's 3 amazing theme parks, including Universal's Volcano Bay Water Theme Park, a tropical paradise like no other. Plus, stay on site at Lowe's Sapphire Falls Resort. Just go to sny.tv/Toyota and enter today. Moylan's 14th game of the year. He takes on Wilmer Flores, who is now 0 for his last 19, with his 0 for 3 tonight. And he rockets one toward the gap in left center field, headed toward the wall, and it's off the fence. So Flores, with a 1-out double, snaps that 0 for 19 stretch and becomes the first Met base runner since the 3rd inning.
Never give up the at bat, no matter what the score. Wilmer been struggling to trying to get on track. Good take back right on that pitch. Beautiful.
Well, he hit some balls hard in that stretch without results, but he got results here. Only the Mets' 3rd hit of the night. Mets have not been shut out yet this year. Trying to avoid being shut out here in the 9th. Here's Cespedes, who had a pop fly double in the 1st, 1 for 3. Kind of had a feeling it might not be a good night for the Mets when Cespedes' necklace broke after his double in the 1st inning. That right now is the least of anybody's worries.
That's right.
Because after all, Whether the jewels were real or cubic zirconia, they were all collected.
Yes. Like Cabrera and Bill Welke.
I mean, I thought it was interesting that Cespedes had no interest in collecting the debris. To Ioannis with Todd Frazier on deck. Day game tomorrow. Jason Vargas makes his second start for the Mets. Julio Teheran, who had a start pushed back a day because of some upper back issues, will go for the Braves. He was brilliant against the Mets when we saw him in Atlanta. And Cespedes strikes out on the breaking ball, and that's the second out. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Make a cameraman happy, bring him a shake. Way to go.
Tommy, he does it all.
Tommy on the spot. So now the Mets are down to their final out. Todd Frazier, the batter. He's gone 0 for 3 tonight. A ground out, a strikeout, a fly out. And he takes the inside breaking ball for a strike.
Frazier's hot.
Well, he's saying, I'm sure, something to the effect of, you've been giving them the outside corner all day, and now you're giving them the inside too. And now Lance Barrett getting a little hot.
A little frustration here.
Yeah. Interesting, Frazier chose 2 outs in a 7-0 game to argue with Barrett. To me, that's like kind of sticking up for your team all night long because they felt the strike zone wasn't what they thought it should be.
Could there also be a piece of, you know, we just lost our best pitcher for whatever period of time. Let's not feel sorry for ourselves. Let's still show some fight.
Still fight, yeah.
I've observed Todd over the first month here, and he likes to give he likes to moan and groan with the umpires.
Grounds one down to third. Flaherty across the diamond, and that'll do it. The Braves have taken the first 2 games of this series. On a night where the Mets lost Jacob deGrom to injury, the Braves score 7 runs against the Mets bullpen. And they've now beaten the Mets 4 out of 5 this year. And they move into first place past the Mets in the National League East. Atlanta winning it 7-0.
Well, the story is going to be Jacob deGrom, and you're probably not going to get an answer to his hyperextended right elbow until 4, 5, 6 days down the road. But you have to be impressed with this Braves team that's knocked out 26 runs and the pitching of Sean Newcomb.
Well, I think that picture we just showed before the Braves of Asdrubal Cabrera, I think kind of says it all. They know, they're concerned. You go into that dugout, you know what's going on. You want to go in there and see your teammate, and it's such an important piece to this ball club. This club's got to get a good night's sleep. An early game tomorrow. They got to pick themselves up. Tough loss.
Tonight's game summary presented by Mattress Firm. deGrom, the big story of the game, leaves with a hyperextended elbow. 3 home runs by the Braves. 7 strong innings from Sean Newcomb in his longest career outing. And the Braves defeat the Mets 7-0. We'll have more coming up from Citi Field in just a moment.